And now we return with another episode of Tales from the Riff. Joining me today is we got Jacob Meche.
What up?
Reece Benoit.
Hello.
And my boy Jake Broussard.
Jacob Broussard.
That's right.
What's up?
Otherwise known as Lafayette's premier thrash metal band.
Whoa.
Gamerra.
Why, thank you.
And I emphasize Gamerra.
Thanks, man.
Yeah?
You said it right. Yes, Gamerra.
Yes.
I've only been knowing y'all now for a better part of, 2 years?
Just about.
Yeah.
I'd say off and on. It's been a weird relationship.
Yeah? Tell us about it.
I mean, me and Mo are cool. I don't know about y'all relationship. What's up?
He only wants to fucking talk to me when we're at shows.
Oh, just talk?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of normal.
Pretty much. I mean, you never called me once to come hang out or whatever.
Yeah, Reece.
That's because Mo's the man in this relationship. He's got to fucking want it. He's got to come after it.
I got to come after it.
Yes.
Well, when you put it like that, I guess you're going to be waiting a while because I don't want it that desperately. Oh, shit. So, what's been new with y'all guys, man? Tell me.
Nothing really new.
That's a lie.
Well, okay. No, working on new music.
Okay.
Working on new music, and we're about to release some new music at the end of October. October 28th, Kuyon Death Squad. Coming to all streaming and buying platforms, whatever you want to do. We're good with either one. Just listen to it.
I'll buy it.
I guess that's why Jake's
Thank you, Mo.
Shit, yeah.
We've been working on this shit for a while. Yeah. Or just shit in general for a while.
Yeah, y'all have any more, monolithic, fucking 18-minute songs?
You know what, Mo? Just for you, the next one's going to be 38 minutes long.
And half of it's going to be a solo.
Hey, that shit isn't even released yet.
New EP coming out October when?
28.
28th.
28th. We got any shows lined up?
No.
You're fucking
We can
funny,
get
Mo.
into that whole story and everything that's involved in this band having that situation later.
Hey, let's do that right now. In fact, let's get into the whole how did Gamerra come about. I want to know the whole backstory on this band.
Jake, shut your fucking mouth. You don't fucking say anything.
Yeah, Jake's still a noob. He has been with us for 3 years now, though, so I consider that a pretty good feat comparison to some of the people that we've dealt with. But not throwing shade, I'm just saying. But I mean, we have been around for a really long time. Just
How long is a long time, Jacob?
let me think.
Because you're what, 22, 23?
Jake, I love you.
Nah, dude, I'm 25, Mo.
Oh,
And you were thinking that Jake was in his 30s a few months ago.
He looks like the oldest one out of y'all three.
He's the fucking youngest.
Which is that's hilarious.
Let me think. We're in 2022 now.
Yes.
Ooh, liberal arts major got a math.
Yeah, you're right. In November, we will be a band for 9 years.
All right.
Formed in 2013.
Fucking right.
Yeah. As far as the show goes, I'm not going to go into every detail that we have. But I will give little blurbs about each era of the band if anyone's interested to hear that. I'm sure these two over here are not interested at all because they've heard it already.
Dude, I fucking lived it.
Yeah, that's true.
This band fucking sucks.
So, okay, to take it back, I started playing bass first whenever I was 12.
Whoa. So you're by trade or a bass player?
No. I had jumped ship since then. But yes, I was 12, and then when I was 16, I switched over to lead guitar. I saw 331 E-Rock on YouTube, and he does metal covers of different things. I saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cover video, and I'm like, I want to be able to play like that. So I switched over to lead guitar and started trying to sweep and all that other stuff. And around that time, I went from being hobbyist to wanting to actually do something with it. Mm-hmm. We weren't really sure what was going to end up happening. I was just like, let me try to find some people to do something maybe. And my friend Alex, who me and Reece have known forever.
Yeah, a long time.
Just for background, me and Reece have also known each other forever since we were 7. So it's almost been 18 years that me and Reece have known each other. But then me and Alex have known each other for about maybe short of that, maybe 3 years less than that. I used to go over to Alex's house, and we would, jam every once in a while because he played some guitar, he did some vocals and all that other stuff, and it was kind of just like cool, hang out, jam for like 15 minutes, and then play Xbox for the rest of the time, that type of thing.
Fucking kids would do.
Yeah. And then it ended up, I was just like playing some stuff, and I'm like, hey, Alex, match your voice to this. And then he did. And I'm like, hey, you want to start a band? And he's like, sure, let's do it. And at the time, we were both going to Como. So we were like, hey, let's go and find some people that might want to play. And my friends, Nathan Boyd and Colin Robichaud, they were playing at the time, but they really wanted to do their thing, kind of like progressive, like Porcupine Tree type stuff is what they were into.
Yeah, that's the second time I heard about that band today. I'm not a big... advocate of Porcupine Tree because I only know one. I think I watched one concert by them that Speed Wilson's dad, Bobby.
Okay.
He had sent me the link, and he's really high on them, and I was like, okay, checked him out. Really technical stuff, really proggy.
Sounds like something I'd be into.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably so. But I know that I think like the prog kind of ends and begins for me, like Opeth. Yes, and Pink Floyd was kind of proggy back in the day, I guess.
Yes.
That's as far as it goes for me. Oh, and Cynic. I love Cynic too.
Oh yeah, or really, the majority of the last 4 albums of Death too, very progressive.
Yeah.
But as far as that goes, they didn't want to do it. We're like, hey, we're doing the thrash thing, and back then we were more like, I don't want to say pure thrash. It sounds so stupid whenever I say it that way, but it was more along those lines.
When you do the air quotes, it looks stupid.
Yeah, it looks and sounds stupid, so it makes sense.
Because nobody can see the air quotes except for us.
Back then, if anyone was paying attention to what modern thrash was doing, that summer 2013 is when Unnatural Selection by Havoc came out.
Okay.
And that's definitely the direction I was wanting to go into, because it's like before that, I didn't really know what kind of music I wanted to play. I listened to that album like, okay, we're going to be a thrash band. This makes sense. We'll do it. And we kept going. Like I said, Nathan and Colin didn't want to do it because they wanted to do the whole proggy thing. And interestingly enough, our little boy over here around that same time started actually
You got to be specific. Which little boy you referring to?
By little boy, I mean Reece Benoit over there.
Fat potato that's sitting over here, hot and ready to tell his
story.
I
I don't mean little boy as in what you might be thinking. Just trust me on that.
You gotta pull back a little bit whenever you yell, dude.
Sorry, I'm not used to this.
Jacob's loud.
Any moment, my wife's going to come through that door. She's going to stab you in the neck, and I don't want no questions.
That's okay.
I'll film it.
I'm asking for it. Okay, where was I in this story?
You were pointing at me.
And you were referring to little boys. So.
No. Reece started playing guitar and taking it seriously around that time.
I don't know if I'd call it taking it seriously. I had, shit. I definitely wouldn't call it taking it. So I saw Jacob playing bass is what happened with me.
So he was slapping the bass and you were like, dude, I could do that better.
Slapping the fuck out of it, dude. And I was like, well, I want to fucking play an instrument. So I talked to my parents. I was living in Brobridge at the time. And hey man, that's the stomping grounds, man. No. Yeah, so they found the guy's name was Carl Voorhees. He owned this antique shop in the middle of downtown Brobridge, and I did lessons there for about a month. I got bored. All I wanted to do was jerk off and play video games. I didn't want to fucking play guitar.
But you really want to jerk off.
Dude, I was like, Jacob, how old were we? Like 13?
Oh.
Nah, dude. I think
you were ahead of the game when you're jerking off.
Whenever Gamerra was thought of as a thing, I guess, we were like 16 when that happened.
Oh, I was really jerking off. I was crank yanking it. And, But no. Yeah, I wasn't taking it super seriously. I did it
Which
for like
part?
a month.
The jerking off or the guitar?
Fucking know which part. So I kind of put it down for a while, and then.
All right. Yeah. Settle down, goddammit.
I put it down for a while, and I can't quite recall.
I do.
Do you?
I will. Yeah, so you're playing it kind of on and off. It's like, oh, okay, cool. And then you're like, I want to be a lead guitar player. So you start learning solos.
Ha.
And then, which I'm not going to lie, you were learning some solos. And basically what happened is at some point we couldn't find somebody still at school. And we're like, damn, we got to go outside of it. And like I said, it was probably like April or something like that, where he started to really lock it down. I'm like, dude, he can actually do this. And
I mean, there's some embarrassing videos of me.
Speaking of those videos, I'm about to get there.
Yeah, there's some embarrassing
It
videos
was
of me.
some point in the
playing.
summer.
Are they on YouTube?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Some
Fantastic.
point during the summer before, what would it be? My junior year of high school started. It was, he actually was like, I was like, okay, we can do this. And I was like, let me go hang out at your house. We'll play some guitar and we'll see how you do. And basically the entire first jam session of me and Reece, when he first, I don't know if he was officially in the band yet, but let's say he was in the band.
I
at that
wasn't.
point.
No, I was just jerking off back then.
Yeah. We have a couple videos still on my old YouTube channel if anyone wants to go see Reece.
Not of him jerking off, people. Playing.
Don't get too
Very,
excited.
very important distinction.
Yes, yes.
But yeah,
If the foo shits.
and then we went through the thing. We're like bass player. I was looking around. I was just sending friend requests to everyone that I saw in their profile picture with an instrument because I had no connections in the scene. I wasn't going to shows yet. I hadn't been in any bands.
You were
I hadn't
too
talked
young.
to anyone. It was before all of that. And I became friends with, shout out my boy Cameron Laverne. Yeah. And he actually directed me in the attention of Kabir, which is our first bass player.
We love you, Kabir.
Cameron was like, oh, man, I'm doing my own thing, but I know a guy. He'd be perfect for your band. And I'll be damned if he wasn't correct on that, because Kabir came into that whole thing, and he really elevated our sound. He came up with so many ideas. He was writing lyrics, riffs back and forth all the time. We were always bouncing off of each other. We were the two creative minds of the band at the time, minus Alex, who would write lyrics for his songs. But me and Kabir would collaborate on lyrics. Kabir would have whole songs of lyrics on his own. You know, he was definitely a driving force in the beginning. And then we come to our very, very, very recurring problem of having a drummer. Yeah, so we couldn't find a drummer. And then, if I remember correctly, our first drummer, Reece, you met at the Avenged Sevenfold concert, right?
Yeah, I was
Must have been one gnarly concert.
looking back to it. So I was dating this girl at the time, and she had some rich parents.
And she was into Avenged Sevenfold?
Yeah.
You went to
I
impress
was a
her?
big Pantera fan at the time, and hell yeah, I was playing that. So she
You're not talking no tall tales, are you?
What?
You're not talking no tall
No,
tales,
no,
are you?
no, for real.
These are quite short tales. They're actually true.
No. So we went over there, and dude, I can't remember for the life of me, but I think she knew him, right, Jacob?
Something like that.
His name was Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Your boy's Thomas
they had
Ashy.
known each other. He was there. They talked. I met him. And anyway, few months, whatever it is, went by. I go to FYE to go look at some music, and Homeboy's standing there. He's picking out like Slipknot, all this other stuff. And we just get to talking, and he just so happens to be a drummer. And I'm like, do you want to try out for the band that I'm in? And he's like, sure. We're just two fucking kids, you know?
Right.
So, and we exchanged numbers, and that was how we got our first drummer.
Now where is he at now?
I think he
New Mexico. I think
Oh, wow.
is where he lives
Arizona,
now.
I think.
He's one of those two southern west states. I think he has some family down there, and you'd go every winter.
Okay.
But yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it was a few months, and we were just like talking to drummers back and forth. Like nothing really worked out, and eventually we were like, "Hey Thomas, you want this spot?" And he's like, "Yes, I want this spot. Hell yeah!" Then he's like texting me back and forth, and I was like sitting in a Mexican restaurant with a parent or something like that, and my brother, and we were just eating food, and I was texting him, and he was like, "Yes, dude, thank you for this opportunity." And he's like flexing his muscles and shit, and then eventually we get him in. Everything was cool. I mean, it was interesting because like stylistically we were very different. He came from more of like a pop punk, like post-hardcore, metalcore type background, which is definitely not really our thing.
Yeah.
But he made his way into it, and we wrote our first few songs with him in the band, and we played like our first 8 shows with him, I think. And then
I forgot it was that
I don't want
many.
to say falling out, but we had a little bit of a problem. But then again, we drummers are being what they are, you know. Like, but his situation was a lot more tame than you'd expect based on how I'm describing it. Like, it was a lot more of a subtle thing. I forgot to mention before we started playing our shows, Alex, he had enough, so he quit, and we got Lane Bro to do vocals for us.
Yeah, Alex stylistically wasn't matching up with a lot of stuff we were writing, because Alex was much more of a singer rather than a metal vocalist. So he just couldn't do what I guess the music was asking for.
Right.
So, and we were like, yeah, you know, of course. So we ended up searching for a singer.
And we're still on really good terms with him.
Oh,
by the
yeah,
way,
yeah.
so.
He was at the house the other day, not like a few weeks ago.
Now, whenever y'all, like, collectively, you and Jacob here were, like, setting the groundwork with the former musicians y'all had in y'all band, what were y'all decided y'all wanted to do thrash, but what kind of sound stylistically of the thrash scene y'all were looking for?
Havoc. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Jacob was writing a lot more of the songs himself than I was.
You wasn't contributing?
I was contributing, but not to full songs. Like, I was more of writing like
riffs
and just like you know, there because Jacob was much further ahead.
Well, you just gotta want it, man. You gotta want to write the song.
Well, I mean, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, he just wrote a whole lot more than I did.
Well, clearly you didn't want it enough, Reece. Like you told me.
Fuck you, Mo.
Yeah, but
This is why we don't hang out.
the era of our second.
That's not how this is supposed to go. Damn it.
I know, right?
with Lane on vocals. We played our first few shows. We played the District like 3 times. We played the Boom Boom Room for the first time. We played at Bisbano's, rest in peace, when it was still open.
That place ruled.
And we played at the District one last time with that lineup. It was opening for Ventress, Somewhere to Call Home at the District on a Thursday or something like that.
I can't believe you fucking remember that.
Yeah, I have...
Big brain.
In order to remember and navigate my way through a 17.5-minute long song, I kind of have to have a good memory. So that makes sense. But I digress. We played that show. It went all right. We had some arguments between me and a couple other members, which are not the ones that we've spoken good about so far, but I won't say anything about that any further. But basically, right after that, we got the biggest opportunity of our career at the time, which was to open for Insomnium at the Southport Hall in New Orleans whenever they came in.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2018. It would have been June 21st, 2018 or something like that.
Okay.
And
Feels like a
interestingly
lifetime ago.
enough, Jake, before he was in the band, was at that show. He came to our second show we ever played, and he came at the Insomnium show with his cousin Pierce.
Okay.
So
Pierce was at both shows.
Oh, he was. You're right. I remember. I
Now,
remember seeing him.
Jacob, at that show, did you approach them or they approached you to fill in for vocal duty?
Oh no, that.
No. We'll get into that.
We'll get
Yeah,
into that later.
that.
Okay, all
We
right.
haven't gotten to that level
Okay.
yet. Yeah, he was just there to see it.
Sorry to interrupt, Jacob, but me and Jake and Pierce were interacting with each other.
Well, I remember that. I talked to them too for a little bit. Like
Yeah.
the second show that came, it
Yeah.
wasn't like I sat there and talked to them like, yeah, you're like cool show guys, and I'm like, yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah,
I ran away and put the stuff up, like the typical thing.
I had
Like
seen you and Pierce at another show, right?
At the district show.
Yeah, and I had talked to y'all then, and then I saw y'all there, and y'all were some strapping young lads. so I
Pierce
said,
is
hey.
Pierce is the he had blonde hair.
Yeah,
Yes.
our
Taller.
primary merch guy.
He's about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
About my height.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good dude.
Yeah,
Met a few
yes.
times.
That's my shout out
good
to
dude.
Pierce, my
Yes.
boy.
We love you,
Yes.
Pierce.
It's for you, Pierce.
Whoop, whoop.
But yeah, like I was saying, up to the Insomnium show, and we're so prepared for it. We're locked in. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. It's gonna be great. But what
I
happened?
like how you flex every
Yes.
time. Like you in the front row at Freetown.
Everyone knows this about us. If they've seen us out on the scene at Boom Boom Room at a show, we like to act the fool and we like to flex our muscles a lot and yell. That is the entire vibe.
How much
of
y'all
the
benching
Gamerras.
nowadays, Reece?
2,700 pounds.
Need I say more?
You should have saw Reese's face. Did y'all see that when I put him on the spot? He's like, what?
Thank God Jacob was there to answer it for me.
Yes, we like to flex. We like muscles.
Well, I mean, of course you got to rely on him. He writes all the fucking music.
God damn.
Hey, let me defend Reece real quick. Let me defend my boy over here.
Yeah,
This
defend
boy
me.
can write a fucking riff. As confusing and weird as
Thank
they
you.
are and hard for me to play, I love every single one of them.
Thank you.
And he has had major contributions on our first album. I mean, our first album didn't come out the best. It sounds like shit, like production-wise, but, you know, the songs are still there.
All right, hold on, Jacob. I need to stop here. That was like the most sideways way to fucking talk shit to your rhythm guitar player.
I wasn't trying to be. I'm saying this shit's interesting.
I'm gonna back my boy up, but I'm just saying that first record kind of sucked.
I said specifically that the songs are good. Damn it.
All right.
Now you're putting me on the spot.
Moving
Okay.
on.
We're getting very sidetracked on our story here. Then we can finish the story and talk about other stuff.
It's like a typical Gamerra song. I mean,
Yes, exactly. We're taking you on a magic carpet ride, baby. Let's go. Okay, yeah, like I was saying, Insomnium show. We were like super excited about it, but what I didn't mention before, as Thomas, as good as his personality was, he had a nickname. I'm sure these two remember it.
I remember it.
Bigfoot. You know why? Because his sightings were rare.
Oh.
Yeah, practicing with Thomas was kind of a hassle trying to get him over there.
Toward the end, he didn't seem like he was having fun with it.
No, and when it came to that Insomnium show, this is where the story takes an interesting turn. Thomas called me up one night. It was 5 days before the show. And he said, dude, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
What was the whole reasoning for that?
He was saying like he had an exam, but it turns out. I mean, I'm not gonna get into any super big detail because it's not really anyone else's business.
Yeah, it's cool.
But it turns out it was something a family member didn't want him to do because he had a situation there.
Right.
Yeah, it was
Fair
a very
enough.
It was a
Fair
very
enough.
personal reason, and he confided into me, and it's like, okay, what do you do? Like, I'm not gonna mad dog you into come fucking playing the show.
If
So I
anything,
was like, Thomas, look, it is what it is, and it wasn't just he couldn't play the show; he couldn't do the band anymore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he was just like, this is it, man. And I was like, all right, it is what it is. And by the way, we're still, we still love Thomas.
We're on good terms.
Always,
Oh, that's
he's always
good.
welcome.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got off the phone with him, I immediately called Jacob and I said, we got a fucking problem.
And wasn't it a fucking problem? A real one. I love it. I loved hearing every bit of that call right there.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I was like, yes, I love this situation. Not really, but okay. Here's what we did. We're like, okay, we're 5 days away from the biggest show of our lives, opening from an international touring act and another national touring act opening for them at one of the biggest venues in New Orleans, like for this type of music. We can't mess this up.
Not at all.
We can't jump off the show. We got this opportunity, and we had people work hard to try to get us on this show. So we immediately started calling up people that we knew. And we went through Chase LeBlanc. He started learning his song. Didn't want to do it anymore. Dropped off. Sebastian Martin. He started doing the same thing.
I just love how you like name dropping every dude who was not a willing participant.
What, are we going to fucking lie about it?
Hey,
yeah,
man.
I mean, I'm not.
No
I'm not,
shade. It's just the truth.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like,
That was a good reminder to tell the audience members that anything the band says does not necessarily mean that I agree with their opinions. That's a huge disclaimer.
Bleep their names out
Okay.
if you want. I don't really care. I'm just like, it's just one of those things. It's like we're still on good terms with them. It's
Right
just
on.
they weren't
Yeah.
right fits for the band and they didn't want to do it at the time. So
Good
I mean,
deal.
it's
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah,
because-
I'm not talking shit right now.
No, of course
Like,
not.
No, not like you to talk shit
No,
about the first
and
album that he wrote with
They're
you.
fantastic drummers, too.
We'll get to that point, Mo.
Okay.
Okay, so we even got to this guy. He was like, "Man, you pay me $500 and I'll do this."
I
And I'm
fucking
like-
forgot about this.
I'm like, we don't have the money to do that. So you know what we did?
What?
I started practicing. practicing the songs on drums.
There you go.
And I played drums for that show and the show after that.
I have a fucking video. I had a video on my phone the day of the show. I walked into Jacob's room, and he was sitting in front of his bed, and he had a stick of deodorant and like a notebook. Mm-hmm. And the stick of deodorant was the snare, and like the notebook was like a combination of other like pieces of the kit, and he was just sitting there practicing to the songs on this stick of fucking deodorant. It was impressive, to say the least.
I was just like, just tapping out the. I was like, okay, I just make sure that I'm not popcorning the snare and the kick, and it doesn't sound like.
Yeah.
I'm being all noisy and stupid now.
No. I mean, I get relate. I always wanted a drum set of my own when I was younger, and my mom would not just. And we couldn't afford it the way we. But anyway, so like I would get like these. I would get like my plastic rulers out that I had for kindergarten or some shit, and I had the all the sofa pillows, and that sounded like you get a pretty good sound of that. Believe it or not, I was just watching Headbangers Ball, jamming the Anthrax. It was great.
Hell yeah.
Just for background, we actually had a drum set for a practice room the entire time during that. Mm-hmm. The only problem was it was in the living room of our house at the time, and I was having to practice during the night, and I couldn't wake up the other two people that were living there at the time. So it's just like, so I guess I have to make a fake drum set and figure the shit out, And then we played the next show like that because we're not a fan of canceling things. So we already scheduled that show. Good. Whatever. And then we got the next show, and we got my cousin Art to play drums on it.
Great name.
Which went
Art.
It went all right. I mean, like it's definitely not his style. Like he never played thrash or anything like that. The closest thing to like, I say, thrash, but Metallica's thrash. He used to play like Blackened and stuff like that, like older Metallica stuff, but not like the faster, like almost I guess Slayer-esque type of speeds. He wasn't used to that, so he did the best he could and. Kudos to him. He did it. I mean, he was like at the venue, like listening to it, like air drumming, making sure that he actually has all the stuff right. We played that, and that whole show, that whole situation. There was maybe 2 people that were there that didn't work at the bar or weren't in the bands that we were playing with.
Was that the Texas Rose Saloon in Beaumont?
Yep.
That was like the show that you're talking about, the one directly after the Insomnium incident.
It wasn't directly after. Was at Intercoastal Club the first time we played there.
Is that when they fucking gave us that, where Homeboy made all that, what the fuck is it? That food that I fucking ate.
Yeah, the pastelaia.
Yeah, that pastelaia was fucking
Tony.
Good, dude.
I love, pastelaia is like either really good or really bad.
I agree.
That shit was stupid.
it was good, though. Like, luckily. Yeah, and then we get into the next stage of the band where we were just dormant for a while. And nothing was happening.
What time frame is this? About 2019, 2020?
This is, let me think.
COVID times?
No, not yet. Not yet. It was
late 2018.
July 2018. Oh yeah, forget. We played 2 more shows in Lafayette before that. This dry spell that I'm talking about. We didn't have a drummer from the end of July into October, and Thomas was like, "Okay, I'll play these 2 shows with you guys." And we came back. We played Midnight Mushroom Mass, and we played Grindfest 2018.
That was fun. Those were fun shows.
Yeah, they actually went over pretty well. And that is the first time we met our boys in Big Fucking Gun.
Oh, those dudes.
Rest in peace. They're no longer a band, but they should be.
Anymore, but.
Our boys Max and Perry, we're still really good friends with them though, and we see them, and when we go to Baton Rouge shows, we're like, "Hey, it's your boy!"
Shout out to the dudes.
But yeah, then the huge dry spell just happened, and it was basically just a thing where me and Reece and Kabir were just like, "Okay, let's write some songs."
Yeah, because Lane had ended up leaving not long after those few shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, you're right. It was like, I forget. Right after those shows, our first attempt to try to record Detached from Reality, and.
Yeah, take a breather, Jacob. Take a breather.
Emphasis on the word attempt. It did not go well. We tried to record live drums. The snare mic was out the entire time, and unnamed producer didn't notice in the beginning. And we were like, "Hey, cool. We'll just keep recording. It's all good." And
where was this production? Like, where did y'all try to record this?
Well, the drums were recorded in my garage, where the drum set currently resides, where we practice.
Okay.
And then everything else was done in individual's apartment. I'm trying very hard not to do this thing, but everyone knows who it is. If you read the inside of the CD, you know.
Just don't go there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there.
Okay.
So let's just leave that. But and then at some point we finished the entire thing. We're like, okay, we're gonna go back and replace the snare.
Okay.
And then his laptop broke down.
Crash.
And fried the entire hard drive and lost everything. I'd say that's actually end up being a very, very good thing, because that first attempt sounded like some poop in almost every aspect except for the rhythm guitar tone.
Lessons were learned. I'll say that.
And then the huge dry spell where we're just sitting there, and then when we got the news that his laptop broke was like in March, something like that. Mm-hmm. Around this time, though, let's say March is when our boy, rest in peace, Blake Dugard, joined as our new drummer at around that time. And we're just like, yeah, we're going to get the album done. And he was like, oh, cool, you guys got an album already. Like, I was like, kind of. And then we got the news that it was just, nope. And then, what was it? We were looking for a vocalist. And the guy that we wanted couldn't do it because he had some family situations going on.
Who did y'all want originally? Can you name names?
Colin.
Okay.
One of Reese's coworkers.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, this is a guy that I worked with. He's a cool cat. Shout out, Colin. He was tossing around the idea, but then he had a kid, and they just ended up, so.
What, I guess, my question for y'all too is, what type of vocalist y'all are looking for? Like, what kind of sound? Like, what kind of
Rob Dukes from Exodus at the time when he was in that Exodus.
That was like that was a name that we would toss around, like someone who could do something like that.
And that's like roughly what Lane sounded like. But let's just say Lane didn't want to do it.
Yeah, he was just, he had enough.
So then we had some other names tossed around. They're like, hey, I'm kind of interested, and then not really anything came about it. And then very funny situation, which I need to be careful how I joke sometimes, because sometimes I get misinterpreted and things like this almost happen. So basically what happened is
Jake's giggling.
Your boy, Jacob. What's your middle name?
Matthew.
Jacob Matthew Meche.
strong Cajun name right there?
Your boy Jake Meche messaged the Instagram, and Kabir was like, "Yo, we got this guy named Jacob that wants to do vocals for us." He was like, he's seen us at a couple shows before.
I'm so glad you're talking about this.
And then take into account this is all typed, so it's easily misinterpreted.
Right.
So I was like, nah, fuck that dude. I don't want a second dude with the same name as me in the band. And Kabir took it literally and didn't contact him for months.
Wow.
Kabir did not message. You know what, Jake? Why don't you pick up from here?
So I'd messaged the Instagram. I talked a little bit back and forth with Kabir, and then he just disappeared. He ghosted me.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Because I had talked to Reece, more so Reece. I talked to Jacob at those couple of shows that I had gone to, and talked to Reece more. Yeah. And then I was like, what the fuck? And at the time I didn't have Facebook, and I was too stubborn to get Facebook. I was like, you know what, fuck Facebook.
I'm not.
Yeah. I'm still of that mindset. But, so I was like, what the fuck? Why you not answer me? So then I decided I was going to, because I would see Reece at shows. Like, you know what?
You were determined.
I was determined because
this dude was so ready.
Like, when the first local show I ever went to was to see Gamerra before I joined the band.
Okay.
I had never been to a local show at that point, and my brother had sent me a flyer on like Instagram. He was like, "Hey, look, this says Gamerra, a thrash metal band. I know you're into that kind of stuff." I'm like, "Wait, there's a thrash band from around here?"
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I'm going.
Like
I'm going to see it.
A unicorn.
Yeah.
He couldn't believe it existed.
Right. So like, you know what? I'm going to see it. And then me and before mentioned Pierce, my cousin, we went check them out. And then, I loved it. The show was awesome. And I know this sounds made up, but you can ask my cousin Pierce. When I saw them and I was like, yo, this is awesome. And I was like, I can do those I can be the vocalist of that fucking band, and I can do it better.
Yeah.
Like, I know that sounds cocky, but it was, when I saw them, I was like, I can do that. I'm going to get in that fucking band.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I saw that they needed a vocalist, I was like, fuck yeah, this is my chance, And then Kabir ghosted me.
All because I made a joke that was misinterpreted.
Yeah. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm not stopping. I'm going to go to every single local metal show that's going on at the Boom Boom Room, at the District. It doesn't matter.
And joke's on Jake. I did not go to every local show.
But I was low key stalking Reece.
Wow.
Because I was like, I'm getting in that. I want to hear a no or just an explanation. Like, what's the deal? Y'all found somebody? Y'all didn't find somebody? Whatever. So one day I think we went to see. I think it was Almore was playing.
Dude, I have.
It was
worst memory
Almore
in the
and
band,
a couple
so
of
don't
other
fucking
people.
ask me.
And then I was just chilling at the Boom Boom Room. You know, I was leaning up against the pillar in
Yeah.
the middle of the room.
Yeah.
And then I saw Reece come out the back door, and he was walking by the bar, and I made a beeline for him. I was like, hey, I know you guys are looking for a vocalist. I talked to the Instagram a couple months back, and then they ghosted me. And Reece was like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, and I asked him, like, dude, who runs y'all Instagram? And he's like, oh, it's our bass player, Kabir. And I was like, well, he ghosted me.
That son of a bitch.
Me and Kabir, this is the one thing I do remember about that night, aside from talking with Jake. Me and Kabir were at that show, and as soon as I was done talking with Jake, I walked up to Kabir and I said, what the fuck? Dude. Are you serious?
Yeah, so I just started talking to Reece. I was like, hey, listen, all I want is a shot. Just give me a shot, and I'll prove it. You know, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. He's like, okay, dude. You know, we exchanged phone numbers. Like, he was like, you and I are going to talk from now on. I'm like, cool, that works. And then what was it, the next week?
Yeah, you were.
No, y'all had, I'll take this, sorry. They had sent me like, hey, learn any song off of Exodus Exhibit B, it was. Like, any song you want, learn it, take a video of you singing it, and send it to us, you know, and we'll see what you can do.
Just to kind of stylistically.
I still have that video, by the way.
I still have that fucking
I cringe
video.
at that video. So I went through the CD and I was listening to it. Like, okay, I'm gonna go with Downfall because that's probably one of the easier ones, you know. So I learned it in a week, sent it to them, and they said they liked it. So Reece was like, "Hey, let's hang out. Like, let's meet up at the mall. Just, you know, talking.
Not jerking off, just talking.
Yeah, we're just talking.
Those days were over.
You know, like I was still a good Catholic boy at the time. I wasn't into that kind of stuff. So
That's not saying much these days, man.
yeah, you're right. So yeah, we just met up at the mall, and I was wearing, funny enough, I was wearing a Vitriol shirt,
Just like Reece.
just like Reece right now. Yeah. And he's like, yo, that's a fucking Vitriol shirt. And then we just started geeking out about death metal because I was super, like, still am, but at the time I was like death metal 100%.
That was kind of what that whole thing was because
Yeah.
I just wanted to get a feel for what this guy was like. So let's hang out, you know. Which, thinking back, like, that's kind of weird that a dude would just message around, yo, we're gonna fucking hang out. Let's meet up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, he's like,
dude,
we're gonna
go hang out at the
hey,
mall,
let's
dude.
meet out. Like, he was like, let's meet at the food
That's
court.
pretty
at the
acceptable
mall.
behavior these days, you know?
He was like, food court in the mall. And I was like, okay, that's acceptable.
It's a
Like,
safe
it's a safe space. you
Safe
know?
space.
Like, he's
That's
not
all
gonna-
you need. It's a
Right.
safe space.
Yeah.
It's safe here.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So yeah, we just started geeking out about death metal and stuff, and we just kind of, he was asking me some questions, and we just, you know, just shooting the shit.
Just
and
shooting the shit.
And he was like, hey, learn Domination by Pantera, and if you can get it down by this coming Sunday, come to practice.
For background, the reason we chose that is because Blake, our drummer, knew how to play it at the time.
You know what was going to cover it or something?
We didn't really know, just jam it.
Oh, yeah, we
not
were
like,
just gonna to see what he would be like in that type of environment.
Oh, okay.
So he told me that, and I was like, fuck, I gotta learn that song. Shit. So, but when I got home that night, Reece called me again. He's like, hey, dude, instead of learning Domination by Pantera, I'm gonna send you one of our own songs. I'll send you the lyrics. I'll send you the vocal phrasing. Learn it, and if you can get it down by Sunday, come to practice. So I'm like, I'm gonna get this fucking song done by Sunday, and I'm gonna go to practice. So, and that's what I did. And then whenever we went, I auditioned, you know, sang through the song. I forgot all the lyrics of the first verse. But I
Like a true pro.
yeah, but I hit everything else, or at least I thought I hit everything else, you know? And they were like, okay, cool. So we were, you know, hanging out a little bit, and then they kind of brought me into the house. I'm like, oh, God, is these guys going to murder me? And then they're like, hey, dude, you did good. And just to see if you're serious, we're going to send you 3 more songs, and if you can get them done this week, come to practice. Like, lyrics memorized, everything. No looking at lyric sheets. If you can get it down, we'll see what happens.
In a week.
So I was like, and inside I was.
And how long were the songs back then?
They were average.
not that long.
No, they were not that long. There's average song lengths.
I mean, it's still longer than the average song. Let's see the average song
They're like
length
5,
for
6.
a
About
local metal band
3:30,
around here.
4 minutes?
No,
No, they're
longer
like
than that.
5, 6.
Our average songs have always been around 6 minutes.
I got you.
Kind of, yeah. So I went to do that. You know, I had all that week. So after work, at work, I was listening to it. After work, I'd practice them. And then I had a mishap, like some family stuff going on that week. So I could only get 2 songs down. So I called Reece. I was like, hey, dude, I got a situation going on over here. I got 2 songs down. Like, that's what I can do. And he's like, dude, that's awesome. Just come. If you can make it a practice, come on.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm gonna be real. Me and Jacob, when we sent Jake off with that task, we looked at each other. We're like,
we basically already knew he was in the band.
yeah, we were
What was it was sexually transmitted stupidity,
That was the
determined to
first
kill.
one. That was the first one I learned.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
that one. I'm trying to think of the ones you actually practiced with us that Sunday. It was sexually transmitted stupidity, determined to kill, and tropical cyanide, right?
Yeah.
I think those are the other 2 songs you got were determined to kill and tropical
yeah.
cyanide.
We didn't even expect Jake to actually learn all 3. We were just like, we just want to see how devoted he could.
Yeah, it was just like a
do
shit
something
test.
like
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got the 2 songs down, and then we went practice, and I'm gonna say I nailed them. I think I nailed them.
you did pretty good.
Yeah, it was all right. It was all right.
I was having to read your lips though because the
We
PA
had some
at the
PA
time was
problems at
really,
the-
really like
Yeah.
not
Some
powerful
poo-poo
enough.
caca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then they kind of brought me into the house. I'm like, oh, I guess they're not gonna murder me this time. And
No, we're
then-
gonna track you off this time.
And then I would have ran away because fuck that. And they were like, hey, dude, if you want to be in the band, you're in the band. I was like, fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And I've been here for the last 3 years.
Just
you
for
go.
just for timeline's sake, something I forgot to mention. Our first show was at the end of 2017. The second show was the beginning, like in January 2018. And when he finally joined was in May of 2019. So it was about a year and a half about that you see our first
Yeah.
show
Yeah.
until he's into the band.
Yeah.
So basically, that's how that happened.
Damn.
Yeah, so I joined the band. Cool, you know, and then they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, you got to learn the rest of the songs because we're going to start recording the album in, like, I think it was like 3 months. We're going to
Something
start
like that,
something
yeah.
like that. We're going to learn. And I was like, wait, you have an album? We're recording an album?
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. You know, and so
This would be the beginning of very many announcements that he was shocked by.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
we did that. I started learning all the songs. When we started the recording, or they started doing guitars and stuff, I'm still learning the songs. They're practicing, and they're like, "Hey, y'all want to play a show with Goat Whore?" And I'm like, "Wait, what?"
What?
Because at the time, unknown producer guy that we went back to finish the album the second time was putting shows together, and he's like, "Y'all want this spot?"
Yes.
And we talked to each other, and we're like, "It'd be kind of stupid not to. We have a drummer and a vocalist now. We're a full band.
Let's go for it.
finally." And we're like, "Sure." And at the time, I think we were programming drums for the album, which we ended up deciding that would be the best option because.
A multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's go with
Yeah,
that. I almost lead into it a little bit harder. I shouldn't
we'll
do
give
that.
a little bit of clarification. It's personal stuff about Blake, and it's probably just not best
Yeah.
to get into it right now.
That's fine.
But it
Yeah.
was the best option.
He's like, "Yeah, Goat Horse show. You guys want that 8 p.m. spot?" And we're like, "Why not?" We accepted it. So you heard that right, folks.
Yeah.
Jake Mess's first show in his first band was opening for Goat Whore.
And still am, but at the time I was like, Goat Whore.
Yeah, you're
Huge Goat Whore fan.
you share something with Heraclean
Yeah.
there, you know? Like their first time
They're our favorite new band.
oh yeah.
So awesome.
I mean, they're so
And
so
cool
fucking
people, too.
talented.
Shout out
Super
to the
cool
guys.
Man, I'm
Love you
just
guys.
letting you know right now, Speed and Apollo. I don't know too much about Christian if he has a side project right now, but I know Apollo has a very hush-hush side project.
Oh,
He sent me a little something. Holy shit,
We're going to have to talk about this after.
bro! Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just
Oh, yeah.
like in
That
the
got me
best way
excited.
possible.
Good.
Okay. Anyway,
Yes.
yeah. That we played that show. Went pretty damn good. I mean, it could have been tighter, of course, but that was like our first show of that lineup.
It was
so
packed as fuck.
there was a lot of people there.
And I was on cloud 9. I was like, holy shit, this is something I've been wanting to do forever. First show opening up for one of my favorite bands, and it just went off without a hitch, and I was on cloud 9. I was like, this is amazing.
Gohor was still they were still touring for Vengeful Ascension at that point, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were still-
Because the new one didn't come out till another 2 weeks, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because
I remember.
I listened to the whole thing.
I know.
It was so good.
I'm jealous, you bastard.
I'm about to go.
Man, Mo, you're so special, dude.
I just
Yeah,
You got connections, man.
I got people.
I remember about it. Like Jake's, he seemed very, very happy at the end of it. Like he was like, "I'm."
Do you have a raging
so
hard
glad.
on? Was it that noticeable?
He told me he was like, "I'm so glad I ended up deciding to actually pull the trigger on this and join you guys."
Yeah.
So I mean, like I was glad that I could allow that to happen. Or, you know what I mean? Allow, but I could be part of the.
Sound like you were God there, Jacob.
That I could be part of the instrumentation of that ended up happening. I'm
Gotcha.
glad we could give them that opportunity. I'm glad we were given that opportunity, and I'm
Yeah.
very appreciative for everyone that existed at that time that put us into any part of motion in our career.
Well
Because
said.
that helped us so much. I'd say more people know us from that show than anything else that we've ever done.
Yeah,
Wow.
I would agree with that.
As far as like face-to-face interaction, but
Yeah.
we'll kind of get into that whole thing later.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I remember we got to the part in Determined to Kill where Reese's guitar solo, and they have the doom, 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 like the four on the floor
yeah.
bass thing, and Jake did the hey, 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 and
Like
he told me,
started a chant.
And he told me after, he was like, dude, I can't believe they actually listened to me. And like,
Oh, dude. I was like, yo, they're listening?
It was like a pure rock star moment for you right there.
Yeah.
it was awesome. Like
was
it
so-
It was a baby growing into a man.
Oh, yeah, I was like,
Man.
baby
and we
face
sold
still.
a fuck ton of tickets for that show. We sold like 40, and that was more than anyone else on the bill did. And we're like, yes, we did it. And then all of that, we sold a lot of merch on that show too.
Yeah.
So like it worked out well. And then we get to our second show with this lineup.
Yeah, this was wild.
So
This was also really great.
Jake's first show was opening for Goat Whore. His second show ever was opening for Warbringer.
God
at,
damn.
At Southport Hall. And like it was one of those things where we had a show booked for Babylon. First time we ever played there. Later in October. And keep in mind, the Goat Whore show was in September 28th of 2019.
Something
if I
like
remember
that.
correctly. But the Warbringer show was like October 15th or something like that. And then the Babylon show was October 26th. And basically, we saw the announcement, and I'm like, for anyone that's listening, you can't see me, but my eyes are darting around the room to my bandmates. I'm like, let me see what I can do here.
Looking like a full blown meth addict.
Yes, exactly. I was methed out. I was like, let's go. And now I mean meth on meth. I mean like meth on we could open for Warbringer. Holy shit. Let me try and do this. And then I contacted Mark Bagnetto, who's the booking agent at Southport. And I'm like, hey, dude, we just opened for I'm thinking in the future now. Look at me. We just opened for Goat Whore, and we sold like 40 tickets in our town. Like, we can try our best. Like, if you guys need an opening band for this Warbringer show, we can sell you some damn tickets. And eventually he got back to me, and he was like, sure, why not?
Fucking right.
And we were like,
Oh, yeah. Like, we were practicing. Or I take that back. We all got to Jacob's house to practice one Sunday, and then he came into the garage right before we were about to practice, and he was like, hey, dude, y'all want to open for Warbringer? And I was like, you fucking shitting me? Fuck yeah, I want to open for Warbringer.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That was insane to hear that come out of his mouth because
Yeah.
they were a huge influence on us, especially with the newer material.
Yes, 100%.
starting with Woe to the Vanquished, definitely that like opened our eyes to what could be done on a modern thrash album. It's just like, and then later on, Woe to the Vanquished did that once again, or Woe to the Vanquished,
Weapons of
Tomorrow did it and upped the ante, and we're like, okay, what are these dudes on right now? I need
Right.
some of that.
Smoking
Like,
crack, making that crack rock music.
but yeah, we got there and we sold a decent amount of tickets. We sold like 25. Not everyone showed up that we sold to, but
Yeah.
we got a decent amount of people there in the crowd. And I tried to do the stupid thing where the crowd was like, you know, the cross arms, like I'm there for Warbringer and Forrest. Why you pansies up here right now, type of thing. And I'm like, you guys, I went on the mic. I'm like, you guys can come a little bit closer to the stage. You know that, right? And they just kind of looked at me. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll go fuck myself then. All right, here's the next song.
Was that the show where me and you were doing sound check and that dude was kind of getting mad at me and you? 'cause-
Ball-headed hoe shit.
Yeah, so he was like, do the mic check, and me and Jacob were going back and forth and saying like bald-headed hoe shit. And then I looked up and I realized the dude doing sound check was fucking bald as fuck.
Oh.
Total chrome dome. Yeah, so he probably thought we were making fun of him.
Yeah, dude.
But because the whole bald-headed hoe shit, that's something we had been saying for days. And it was just like an inside joke, and they just kept saying it, and then they realized that the sound guy was bald, and that's why he looked upset.
Yeah, that dude was not happy.
Yeah.
But dude, like Jake and Reese's big nerd moment was the Go to Horse show. At the time, at least, I was way bigger of a Warbringer fan than either of them. So I was like, we were walking in, pulling our gear in, and Warbringer sound checking. I'm like, oh my God, it's good. We walked in, and Carlos Cruz is walking around on the phone. I'm like, holy fucking shit, that's the drummer from Warbringer. He's trying and we got in there, they're sound checking, and we're just like, they finished, I think they sound checked on Remain Violent or something, and they played the end of the song, and I was like, yeah! Like, just like out in the middle of the whole, where the crowd would eventually be standing. And we did that thing, and we sound checked our thing, and it went well. We played a good show.
It was fun.
But if you look at the videos, it looks like there's no one there, but it's not accurate because everyone was behind who was filming us.
Yeah.
So they had a few people, like our boys. We got our boy Nick Garcia out in NOLA. He was there. Reese's brother was up there. My brother was up there. My nephew Ethan was up there. And then 2 other people were up at front. But it looked like there's 15 people at the show. I mean, but then we would finish the song, and you'd hear in the end of the video, like, okay, there's like 100.
Yeah, if anybody, I mean, most people have probably been to Southport Hall, but it's like just a big open room.
Yeah.
And it was just like people just scattered out throughout the whole place.
And it's hot as balls during the summertime.
It is.
Oh my God.
It's warm.
It's very warm.
Definitely warm in there.
Went to see Crowbar. That was the last show I saw at Southport. Man, it was packed. You know, and
You going to see Crowbar in Lafayette at the end of the week?
I have to.
I'm not sure I'll be there, but I might.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best.
When is that?
I don't know.
It's Friday,
Thursday,
right?
Either Thursday or Friday?
It's
Shit. I think it's
28th.
Yeah.
I think. What's the 26th today?
Let me see.
Pull it out. I mean, your phone.
It is the 26th today.
We are the new crank yankers.
So it's Wednesday.
Thursday.
Today's Monday. If it's the 28th or the 26th, tomorrow's the 27th, and Wednesday. Wait. Yeah, tomorrow's Tuesday.
Tomorrow
So
is
Wednesday.
Tuesday.
Today.
Oh,
Hey, I'm
26,
I'm
27.
I'm all.
28.
Y'all got me all fucked up right now.
So
This doesn't
it's
matter.
Wednesday.
Pull it up.
Why are we sitting here arguing about what day of the week it is? We're trying.
It's the 26th.
All right.
26th is today.
All right.
We're recording on the 26th.
Yes. Okay. That doesn't. I digress. Whatever.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That show is awesome.
Which one?
The Warbringer
Warbringer
show.
Oh, I thought
Back on track.
Back on track.
And we played, and I remember we were loading our gear out, and I had
yeah, this was
another huge nerd moment where I'm sitting in here. We were trying to load all the shit back into, I guess, the trailer that Kabir was pulling on his truck. I forget how we were moving things around back then, but we're sitting out there, and you hear John Keeble across in the next room, like warming up, singing the opening lyrics to fucking Living Weapon, and I'm just like, striving like a bullet, I've lost a day, and we're like, yeah, it's like, oh my God, it's so awesome. Then he walked out, and he's like, man, thanks for playing, guys. It's a thankless business sometimes. I understand, so I appreciate you guys being here. And we're like,
It was so
let's go.
cool.
Yeah,
we still use that one sentence spoken to us by the vocalist of Warbringer, John Keeble, as motivation to this day.
Yeah, he was like sometimes playing metal is a thankless job. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, it was really
Awesome.
cool. It was really cool to hear him say that.
But yeah,
motivation, keep going.
Absolutely.
from there, we just went on a string of shows. We played Babylon. We came, I forget what we played after that. Shit, we played like 7 extra shows at the end of the year going into that. At this time, we were still putting the album together.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up leading up to December 13th.
Now, which album is that,
released.
Jacob?
That is Detached from Reality.
Detached Reality. Okay.
And for anyone not remembering the titles and you've seen our art, it's the red one with all the weird shit on it. And you had the giant bass player shooting lasers out of his eyes. And, yes, that one. That was the one that we released at that time. And we had that album release show. That actually went off pretty damn well.
Yeah, at Bisbanos.
Yeah, that was a killer show.
Fun fact about me: only been to one Bisbano show.
Same.
Well, at least you made it to one.
Just one.
Same. The one I
Now and that was back when I was like really young and like really drunken high. So I couldn't tell you who I watched. I just could not.
You just knew you were there.
I knew I was there.
If you were really young, that was a long fucking time.
Yeah,
That's
old
right.
man.
I've never been more cocksure about anything else.
Okay, what next? Album release show. And
Album
we went
release
on
show.
tour.
Yes.
Went on tour. What a situation. First leg of it was in Texas. Second leg was Florida, Mississippi. Or no, Florida, Alabama. Wait, no. It
Floribama?
it was Mississippi. In Mississippi, Pascagoula is the show that we played. So we were playing, and then basically Kabir was like, dude, I'm really sorry to say this, but after the Texas run, I'm done.
Wow.
So,
That was a big kick in the dick.
and we're like, damn, we have to
Yes.
scramble to figure out who's going to play bass on the Florida one. And we got our mutual friend, Merrick Mason,
Shout out.
who was playing at that time in Kabir's other band, Grey Wolf, on guitar. And he did that, and he went on tour with us on Florida. But a very, very sad and important event in our career happened at the end of the Texas leg of the tour, unfortunately. That is when our good friend and mentor, Sean Anders, passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So that was like we were on the way home from tour from Texas. And unfortunately, the last show that leg got canceled because of some weird, shady business dealings at the venue that we booked at. And we came back on the way. We're pretty close. We were probably about 2 hours out. If
It was more like an hour.
Yeah, right around an hour.
And Blake he kind of woke up from the back of the van, and he was like, hey, y'all know Sean Anders? And we're like, yeah, we know him well. He's like, dude, he died. And we're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that at all. So that was that in itself, that grief kind of sat with us for a while, because I don't know if anyone knows that we know, or like what our situation is, but Sean was a very, very instrumental individual in our career.
Yeah.
We met him very early on. It was soon after the Guitar Center in Lafayette opened. I don't remember when that was, but I remember I was playing, he was playing. He was like, hey, man, how long you been playing? All that other stuff. And we jammed Raining Blood together. Of course, he was playing it way faster.
Way faster.
Way fucking faster than he was supposed to. So I was like, come on. And then he was like, my name's Sean Anders, man. Like, I have a bunch of guitars. If you're interested in buying one, hit me up one day on Facebook. And eventually I did, months and months later. And then
What'd you buy from him?
I ended up not.
Oh, you didn't?
We ended up hanging out. We went over there, and around that time, Reece became good friends with Blaine.
Yeah.
And that's
how I met Blaine.
where that whole thing, we come full circle. We went to their house.
But
jammed.
you had been friends with Blaine for a number of years, right?
Yes. Because, I mean, when we met Sean, that was, God, how long ago was that, Jacob?
I mean,
we hadn't even played our first show yet. It was
it's
like in
been-
2015 or something.
It
like
was
that.
almost 10 years, because I met my girlfriend of 7 years, going on 8 years through Blaine.
So y'all are like what, 15, 16 at this time or something?
Yes. Very
Damn.
young. Very young.
Very, very important individuals, not only to us but to the entire scene. So shout out Sean Anders, rest in peace.
Yeah. It's not a, every time I record this, man, and I said it from the very first episode, like every one of these episodes is like dedicated to the memory of Sean Anders, man.
Absolutely.
And I wish fucking Blaine was here to co-host,
Yes.
So
I
do we.
mean, my boy is just, he's doing his thing, he's living life,
Maybe one day we can come back on and he'll
He's
be on
looking
it,
good,
and
though.
we can
he,
reminisce.
he is, man.
Your
He's
long ass fucking neck.
I didn't say it, Blaine.
That's all right. He talk about my buck teeth sometimes
But
too,
yes.
so he deserves it.
Like I was saying, Sean really guided us in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like we switched over to tube amps because of him.
I'm playing
like
Jackson because of that.
yeah,
fucking
a bunch of other things. He's like, okay, you need to do this, like touring tips and all the other stuff back from when he was in Sabbatic Feast and doing that whole thing. He's like, you need to do this, all like you steering us in the right direction, like as an elder statesman in the scene should.
Right.
And I won't say anything else about that because I'm going to end up saying something that I'm going to regret on
How
here.
about don't fucking say anything at all?
Yeah. But yeah.
Play nice, Jacob.
Good elder
Play nice.
statesman doing what he should be. So rest in peace for sure. His memory lives on for sure in all of our music. Every single time we write a song, we're like, let's pump it. We got to go full bore on this because this is what Sean would have wanted.
Yep.
And our entire second album is actually dedicated to his and to Blake Dugaw's memory. Speaking of which, I need to get into that part of the story. So we finished out the Florida leg of the tour. It was terrific.
Yeah, Florida was a blast.
It was
It was
so
awesome.
much fun.
That
It was a blast.
Which part of Florida y'all hit?
We hit
A few spots.
Fort Walton Beach first, and then we went to Tampa, and then we went up to St. Augustine,
That
came
was
back,
probably my
hit
favorite
Pascagoula.
What
at the end, came home.
what venue y'all played in Tampa? Was it Brass Mug?
Pegasus Lounge.
Oh, Pegasus. Okay.
Yeah. It went really well. We had so much fun. Like, Pierce was supposed to be merch guy, but we got our boy McCoy, and then
Stinky
Merrick was playing bass. So it was the just perfect amount of personality going, and Blake was having a good time, which was always important to us.
Yeah.
Because he kind of drifted off a few times. But then we ended up doing you come back, saying the goodbyes, and then we'd have practice a couple of times, and then Merrick was like, I can't do this. I can't do this full time. I can't be as committed as you guys needed me to, but I really appreciate the opportunity. So then we got on to try and get a bass player and made some announcements, accidentally made some people mad. Got the bass player that came in. He impressed us. He did the thing. And then he, did what he expected. And we're like, dude, you're perfect for, being Kabir's, like, what's the word? Continuation. Successor. That's the word I was looking for.
Great word.
And he was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm good to tour. Like, I'm still young. Like, my dad's like, if you can tour when you're 18, please do it, because you're not going to miss many opportunities of this.
Yeah,
And you have to start doing responsible stuff as an adult.
Well, shit.
He was a really young.
If y'all think I'm responsible,
That's all right. We're adults too now, and we're not very responsible. We try our best.
Speak
but
for yourself.
Yes. Hey, it's your boy over there. Yeah, he was, completely gung-ho about it. He's like, let's go, all this other stuff. And, like, he's like, I know how to fix cars, so if we're ever on tour, I'll be able to find the part and I'll fix it. All that
he was all
stuff.
about it.
And, completely
real.
in. Like, and he was like, yeah, I got the gear for it. I got a power conditioner already. Like, it was like,
That reminds me, I need to get one of those.
yeah, important stuff. We also need to get some eventually. But, yeah, and then I don't want to talk too ill, but, like, me and Blake had some problems throughout the time.
Fisticuffs were thrown?
No, it was never to that point. But eventually it just came to a head, and he quit. And about a week after Blake quit, 2 weeks after, Spencer quit. And that's the situation we've been in ever since.
That was the bass player's name.
Without a bass player or without a drummer for a long time at this point. We've not had a permanent drummer or bass player since the beginning of 2020.
What do you say that is?
Probably because our music is complicated.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Our shit just kept evolving.
Yeah.
Really fucking technical shit.
It's at least my point of view on it is, like, all the really good drummers around here are taken.
Yeah.
You got Eddie and all those guys, and it's just really hard to find somebody who has the chops to do it, but also can dedicate the time to do it.
I'd say that's
Jake
nailed it on the head. That is probably even more important than having just the chops right away.
And it's more important to us because we've talked to some people like, hey man, I mean, why don't y'all just get a drummer and then just work with the drummer as like just to their capability. And I totally understand that. Like, I get that. But our point of view on it is we want to write the best music that we can write. So we don't want a drummer. I know this sounds bad, but we don't want like one member to hold us back because we can't say we want to write something that's this fast or this technical or whatever, and we can do it. We don't want to, I guess,
paint yourselves into a corner.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't want to limit ourselves.
We don't want to handicap ourselves. Just like, oh well, this part sounds super cool, but we have to slow it down, or we have to kind of dumb it down for
that's
this.
what metal is. It's extreme for a reason. Like, you can't. If me and Jacob are on this specific level of whatever the fuck you want to call
Just
it,
want to push it.
Yeah, we can't have someone holding us back. So that's why I think that's definitely one part of why it's so fucking hard to get someone to join.
And
us.
we all collectively made the decision we're gonna, even if we have trouble finding a drummer, we're still gonna write the music that we want to write.
I got you.
Exactly.
And if we can't find a drummer, or if we have to like get session guys, then we'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. But we want to write the bet. We want to be proud of what we write. So we want to push it as far as we can.
Speaking of being proud of what we've written, October 28th, don't forget,
Yeah.
Death Squad coming out.
Yeah. But something I forgot to mention as well is during the dry spell between the last show where Art played drums for us and we played back with Thomas and Lane those 2 times, we had a total of probably 5 drummers want to do it, learn a song, and then drop off the face of the earth. So in total, including which eventually we haven't gotten to this part in the story yet, but when including Max, we have had 10 people learn how to play our songs.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, some of those include people that have stayed with us for a short amount of time. Some of them include people that learned one song and never showed up again. So, I mean, like, we've been unfortunately plagued with this situation for a while now. And for the longest time, we were just like, man, everyone in Lafayette just wants to play doom metal and all that other stuff, which wasn't really the case. It was just at the time that was our perception of it. And as far as why people don't really want to, I mean, it's a sad state of affairs, but people like to be comfortable.
Oh yeah, people like to stay what's, you know, convenient and comfortable for them. You know, it's learning a new skill set or pushing themselves, whether it be spiritually, physically, musically. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a foreign concept to some people, you know, and like it. And then that's the one aspect of it. And I learned that if there's another factor that says, you know, okay, I'm pushing myself, but am I liking the music? Am I getting along with the rest of the guys in the group?
Yeah.
You know, am I being challenged because they see something in me or whoever that, okay, you have the potential to do it, let's get out. But they're like, no, fuck that. I don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. You know, y'all ran into a lot of that?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is indeed demanding music. I mean, it's not death metal or anything like that, where it's just like blast beats the entire time. But we like to put extreme elements into thrash metal, and that is the key of what is our sound at this point. Like we've said before, we always say this, and people are like, "What do you guys sound like?" Or like, "We're thrash." We definitely are thrash. That's the core of the sound. We add progressive metal and death metal influences into it. Mm-hmm. Mostly, let's say, progressive death metal, like Revocation and Death and stuff like that. So, I mean, like, it's not like Metallica. It's not early Metallica stuff. It's not like that at all.
Right.
It's like some weird mixture between Exodus, Death, Warbringer, Havoc, Revocation, Sepultura, like all like the more extreme leaning thrash metal bands. Yeah. So, I mean, like, it's not like... There's like a lot of like skank beats and stuff like that. We throw blasts in every once in a while. I mean, it's demanding. Like I've said, not only that, you add the progressive elements of the turnarounds and all the weird pushes and pulls in the songs. It confuses people. And like I said, unfortunately, people like to be comfortable. But getting into that after Blake quit and all that other stuff happened, we had a tour plan, but then COVID hit. So
that ruined a lot of people's plans.
Even if we had everyone's plans,
even if we had found a drummer and bass player in time for that tour, it wouldn't have worked out because that was that summer. And over that time, I was still going to school. There's a bunch of other weird shit.
Just going to school for?
I was my psychology degree that I now have. It was at the end, and I started doing remote in my last semester.
What did you want to do with that degree once you graduated? I'm just curious.
That's a little bit of a complicated situation there. Okay,
so what you wanted to do? That's the complication.
No, I say situation. I meant question. I misspoke. My bad. Originally, I actually wanted to go full bore into psychology and like I want to be a therapist and stuff like that. I wanted to go into my master's degree.
What expertise? I say like
more counseling psychology is what I was thinking originally when I started as a freshman, and then I did my first 2 years. Give or take. I guess the end of my sophomore year of college at UL is when we played our first show. And then at that point, I was like, okay, I want to do this because I realized how fun it was. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be one of those dudes that changes my major like 5 times. So I was like, let me finish the degree. I'll have something on my resume. That's what happened. I was finishing up my degree. And toward the end, when we were in lockdown, we didn't really, come in contact with each other too much. We weren't like whole COVID paranoia. Like we weren't those types of people that were like super scared of it.
Right.
But we didn't. It was just one of those things. So during that time, I kind of channeled a lot of the problems that being locked into your house causes, and going through school, and not only that, the grief with Sean passing away earlier in the year.
Right.
I channeled that and started putting some really really strange music together. And thus was birthed Vertigo, our esteemed,
infamously
and
long,
infamous song.
Infamous.
17 minutes 10 seconds long song, which at that point wasn't long, but it wasn't that long. It was originally supposed to be 11 minutes long, and I kept adding parts.
I fucking remember the phone call too,
and I kept bouncing back from like, okay, it's 15 minutes long now. And I'm like, oh, okay, I finally have it. It's done. 17 minutes.
Yeah, 'cause Jacob was like, hey, dude, I'm writing a song right now. It's going to end up being around 11 minutes. And I'm like, cool, sick. And then it just kept getting longer. And it kept getting longer. And I was like, at this point, I was like, I just want to hear this. What is this going to sound like?
Right,
what is this?
right.
And he was like, hey, dude. He called me one day. He was like, hey, right now the song is sitting at 22 minutes, but I'm going to cut it down. And I'm like, dude, I need to get over to your house. I need to hear this.
That's basically 3 Tool songs.
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, that's how that went.
But at the time, what our longest song was In the Pit, which was like 8 minutes 40 seconds or something like that.
Yeah,
and people are like, "Oh, this song's weird." Like it is, and admittedly, it is weird. There's a bunch of weird changeovers, but that's our style at this
Also,
point.
super song written early, so you know.
Yeah, that was like in before we recorded the entire first album. That's the second to last track on the first album. But like I was saying, I channeled a lot of that negative energy into not only that, but I started writing lyrics, and the lyrics on that song are pretty fucking depressing. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
had to sing it.
Not only that, but I started putting other songs together that ended up on a 2021 demo, like You're Next and No Fingers Crossed, which to me, that's my favorite lyrics I've ever written. Very personal. It's just about dealing with people.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of sneaky, like here's bits of our story than people that we dealt with in the scene, but we didn't like, oh, these people. But like if you read between the lines and you know our story, you know what we're talking about. But that's
Very personal lyrics.
We tried to. And lyrically, I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but lyrically, we tried to write about specific instances in a universal way that everyone can try and relate to.
That makes sense.
So I mean, like, there's a lot of weird metaphors and stuff like that, but we went in hard at the end of 2020, and we're like, okay, we're writing songs, and we're just like, just song. And we're
How many songs right now would you say that we have written that that we haven't released?
We've had demos released for. Okay, let me think. So we got.
I'm just gonna put a number out there.
Six,
Isn't it close to 18 or 19 songs?
That's a lot.
Around that, yeah.
17 songs
Damn.
have been
Close.
unreleased that are demoed out right now, at least in some form.
We've been busy.
Yeah, 'cause we since COVID happened, we were just locked down. We should start writing songs. And then we, like I said, we collectively decided, like, okay, since we can't play shows, we're having trouble finding a drummer. Let's put all our focus on writing songs and releasing music. Because if we can't gain exposure by playing shows, we're gonna write songs and release as much music as we to stay active.
Songs
Yeah.
out,
And stay active and just push and push and push.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite bands, Dark Throne.
Dark Throne,
They do not
play
fucking
shows.
tour.
Right.
They just fucking don't.
We want to tour. We just can't.
We definitely want to tour. But with that being said, Couillon Death Squad is not the only release we're going to have out before the end of the year.
Well, that's good.
Just for perspective.
Be excited, folks.
That's exclusive.
Exclusive.
Shit.
Yeah, we went through the thing and
Love
we're
that
like,
button.
we're in 2021. We want to play one show before we leave, like the year. Leave the year. That's a weird way to say that. Before
We
the year
depart this year
before
of
the
2020.
before the year ends, we want to play at least one show. We want to play a couple shows really. So we released 2021 demo. We submitted it to record labels, got nothing back.
I was about to say, by release, we gave it to some friends.
The only 2 record labels that got back to us in any form was a no.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Of course.
Let me think.
We honestly really didn't expect to hear anything. It was just something, I don't know, to get our feet wet, to give it a
Let's
try.
just try it. And
Yeah.
We not
Well,
only
how many labels y'all tried to email or
a lot.
A lot.
Really?
Like probably 30. We had a whole list of them.
Damn.
We just like emailed it all out to them. And the only 2, just for reference, that got back to us were Blacklight Media and then what's the one with all the weird bands on it? Those weird like black metal and death metal bands on it that
weird black metal and death metal.
Gilead Media or something like that. It was
Wait,
one,
Gilead got back to us?
It was one of the those labels that have weird bands like that on it. I don't remember which one it is right now.
Media. They're cool.
They didn't say no. They said straight up, we're not accepting any demos right now. We're not signing bands right now. Just budget reasons.
Well, it's probably because of COVID too.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, the whole uncertainty of the whole industry at that point.
I think it might have been just a matter of timing whenever y'all was sending out the feelers, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's,
and again,
I would try it again,
We
for sure.
really didn't expect. It was just a combination of let's make some CDs. We have these songs written. We're not playing shows. Let's give them out to some friends, and then we're like, let's fucking send it to labels anyway. Let's just do it.
Do
was
it, yeah.
something to just fucking do it.
Yeah,
that's essentially that's what, COVID, the podcast y'all on right now is because of fucking COVID and my boredom. And and I had, had been laid off, and I was like, you know what? And by the way, I had a fucking autoimmune disease relapse trigger. So it was like, dude, and I could barely play my guitar, so I was like, dude, I need to do something creative, and here we are.
Well, it worked out
What a
because
beautiful bud.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely beautiful.
But you want a tangent though? You were talking about something. I want to finish your story. Finish your story. God damn it! I'm sorry.
We're going to get there soon. I promise, guys. I'm really sorry. This is so long and drawn out. I'm looking at the recording time, and we've been here an hour and 13 minutes. So let me try to
You got time,
through
babe.
this.
You got time.
So we
nowhere to go.
We started moving that around. We're like, hey, here's demo. We were sending it all to local promoter. We sent it to all of our band friends. Not all of them, but like most of the ones we contact.
All of our buds and stuff.
Mo, you got your hands on it, right?
On what?
On the demo we're talking about?
I gave you one.
You did?
I did.
I think you gave me a link that didn't work. I get that a lot.
Link?
Yeah, like I was.
Well, how did you earn our 17-minute song then? How did you listen to it?
How did I hear it? I think Blaine had it.
Blaine had it.
Okay.
Blaine had it. That's yeah.
There we go.
But we did that, and then we're like, me and Reece just started jamming a little bit. We're like, let's release a single. We put a song together, which we premiered on the Grindhouse a while back.
Great dudes.
Never came back. As far as wait, what am I saying? Never came out. Whenever I said never came back, I meant to say never came out. It never came out the time that it was supposed to. We planned on having it out last October. Here we are, still sitting with it, and we still haven't released it. So now it's going to be released sometime in this late winter, early spring of 23. But we did that, and we were like, yeah, we're going to get some stuff. And we're really excited because we're excited about the new material.
I really need a camera for this fucking podcast,
yeah.
man.
I keep telling you, man.
I got me dancing around while I'm trying to tell my story here.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I'm a spaz. I'm sorry, guys. But we wanted, and we were like, let's play a show or two before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it, and I was like, for the longest time, I was like, dude, you guys want to ask Max to play drums and see if he'd be interested?
That'd be Max Dandry.
Yes, Max Dandry of M. Dandry Designs.
He built my table. I got one in our kitchen.
We got to shout at your boy's business.
Yeah,
he does good epoxy resin stuff.
Missed that dude. He had a
funny dude.
Had a new kid.
Yep.
Congratulations,
little baby boy.
But he said yes. And then we had no idea who would play bass, and then we asked Jason Milburn he plays in Enneahedron now. He played in Plague Maker at the time, so we knew them, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, we'll do it." He couldn't end up not doing it. We played with Max at the Twist of Lime.
Yeah,
that show could have gone better.
A night
that's all.
I don't ever want to remember.
That's all I'm gonna say. That show should have gone better. But then we came back for our, I guess our unofficial Demo 2021 release show, which was back at the one that you saw us. That was, I think that was the first time you ever saw us.
Yes, it was.
That show went significantly better than the one at Twist of Lime. Of course, everything could always be improved, and it would have been great to have Slade and Max both on a couple more shows. We could have gotten tighter, but Slade lives in Ruston, 4 hours away from where we practice.
Yeah, that's who we got to fill in for bass.
And then Max has a kid.
Max has two kids.
A kid at the time he's like, I'm thinking like Max has a kid.
Yeah, I'm just.
He has a kid on the way. He runs his own business.
Right.
He's like trying to do. He was just too busy.
Yeah.
And not only that, he lives in Yola, and we practice in Youngsville, so didn't work out.
definitely Max is one guy who definitely has a lot on his plate.
Yes.
He has on many plates to fucking juggle.
Can you imagine how far one of his bands would go if he only devoted time to one of those things?
Bro, I tell him that all the time.
That would be crazy. That dude's a monster.
He is insane, man. Insane. He in fact he had shot me a few demos before he came do the podcast with Plaisance Hickman and with Raccoon City Massacre. Really good dude. Cool. And dude, I was like, every one of the bands that he sent me was just like fucking just jaw dropping. Like, holy shit, dude. Like, that's you playing fucking drums? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we were very fortunate to have him drum for us. It's just what is unfortunate about it is that we just didn't have enough time to jam with him.
Yeah.
Like, it just was not one of those ideal situations where we could practice as a full band and get as tight as possible. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the reason that ended up the way it did. But then we kind of all parted our separate ways, and like, good show. We sold a lot of merch. Like, we paid them, and they're all good, and like, awesome. We're still in good terms with them. In fact, Slade is going to be recording bass on our second full length whenever that comes out.
Sweet.
So that should work out pretty damn good because he's a solid motherfucker on that fourth.
Shout out to Slade, the homie.
It's like a preemptive.
But yeah, at that point we're like, okay, shows are kind of off the table. So then, what Jake said earlier, let's focus on writing as many songs and releasing on as steady of a basis as we possibly can. Mm-hmm. Like, maniacally, like 3 releases a year type of thing. Yeah. And that's what we're trying to strive for. We wrote some more demo material for the second album, and one of those songs is one of our favorites to play when we play at practice. It's a song called Slaughterhouse. Very, very fun. Kind of more consumable side. It's a shorter song, like 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
It's very, very catchy, very riff heavy.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
There's even a drum solo in it.
Whoa.
Solid. And the solo, our guitar solo, we do the back and forth trade like Exodus thing, me and Reece, and it's just so fun to play. And we
can't wait for you guys to hear that one.
Yeah, a couple other songs other than that, and we started like, okay, let's get some material we can release now.
Mm-hmm.
So then we did Illusions of Adequacy. We already did that, and then let me see. Between January and March, I had already put together 9 songs. So I was like, just fast as possible. Reece and I collabed a little bit. He has on Kuyon Death Squad, the middle song, HOA, is actually a song we revived from our first song we ever wrote, a song called Toxic Lobotomy. We
call that cheating.
We shelved it because we had no idea what we were doing in terms of arranging.
Oh yeah, that's baby Gamerra shit.
We had no idea, so we were like, let me.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, man. Bring it back an oldie to know.
No,
yeah,
of course.
and then we updated it a little bit, and he has his left-hand guitar accompaniment in the intro, and then I added a little fast section in the middle right after the solo.
He just took that song and injected steroids into it.
Yes.
And that's kind of what
I've never done steroids.
Me either.
I'm not sure I can say the same.
Fucking Jacob Meche's eyes was like, me neither. Slight pause.
I promise.
I've never even heard of steroids, bro. What do you mean? But yeah.
Been lifting.
What are those?
The final song on what is going to be our next, you hear me right, original release is going to be at the end of May, but we'll get into announcement cycle and promotion whenever that happens. But Reece collabed on that a little bit, and we were just like crackhead energy, song. There was 2 weeks in a row where I had 2 songs for them to listen to.
Wow.
So we got to work, and we're about to get to work and promoting and releasing some of this stuff, and we're very, very excited to show you guys what we've been working on, because this is like staggeringly better than any of the stuff that was on the first album.
Says you.
You funny.
I mean, we all like it more, and we hope that other people like it.
Yeah, we hope everyone else likes it, but I agree with Jacob. This shit is fucking bananas.
I forgot to mention when we released. What am I saying? Released Redo, which was 5 of our favorite songs from the first album. We re-recorded them and made them better, and it has better album art, arguably, at least.
Shout out Zon Dyer.
Yeah. Yes. So, like, we don't completely shit on the material of the first album. We just know that we're going in a better direction now.
Yeah.
So, like, this new stuff, not only the full-length album, which is ironically enough, is actually going to be, it's written before most of the stuff we're releasing next, but it's going to be released afterward because we want an actual full-length album production on it.
Yeah.
Because we've been producing our own stuff with programmed drums and stuff. With the second album, we want an actual drummer and an actual bass player with not me just playing bass on it. And we're going to get it mixed and mastered professionally and actually get all that stuff. So that's why it's taken so long to get that material out. But we're extremely pumped for Kuyon Death Squad, this next little, let's say, early Christmas present for everybody that's coming out. And then in February, we're going to release Illusions of Adequacy finally. And then it's probably in May we're going to release the next thing. And then we're going to get to work trying to finalize the last song on the second album, get it demoed out, get all the scratch tracks and like the tempo maps done, and hire someone to play drums on it.
Nice.
Get Slade to play bass, and get it out and properly represented. What am I saying? Properly represented as far as
like a
what we
senator,
Yes,
a congressman.
exactly. Exactly.
dudes.
Properly represented and representing material in terms of production, because we want it to go forth and be heard the way that we have in our minds, and we want it done professionally. And as far as that,
Y'all have anyone in mind to record it for y'all? Or y'all, I mean,
not yet. You're talking about session musician or a person to
no, like
producer?
produce it.
Not
record
really. We haven't thought about that yet.
Engineer it.
Yeah, we haven't like confirmed. We've talked about it a little bit, but nothing that's like set in stone.
I mean, maybe Astros, because they have a good drum room over there, and we're decent friends with Jai and
Right.
Justin Doan over there. So I mean, like, they might be wanting to do it. But as far as the guy that we have in mind for drumming on it,
that's gonna say shush shush shush.
yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
going to say anything. Let's just say that he's been in some cool situations before.
Yeah, we hopefully we can get an answer from him.
All right.
And if not him, we'll find someone else.
We will find someone. Yeah.
We're going to scour the earth for someone that we can pay to play this stuff in the way that we want. So, yeah, we're excited about that. And thus concludes the story of Gamerra as of today.
All right. Well, that might be the story, but we're at that point in time where you know what time it is, and there's three of you. Goddamn it! So, starting since you were doing all the talking for the band, the majority of the talking, Jacob Broussard, we're gonna start with Mr. Young Meche, and we're gonna go with the 6 albums that you cannot live without. Your sacred 6.
All right,
Let's go.
Hey,
been thinking about
not to interrupt. One thing. This is something I thought about because I knew this was coming.
It's coming.
Can we alter? Yes, it was coming all over the wall. That boy edging.
Not
edging.
what the fuck?
What's going
I
on
knew
here?
this was coming.
What's going
Mo,
on
so
here?
I've listened to your podcast before.
family
Can we do
friendly,
a
goddammit.
slight variation where the three of us are trapped in the same location and can share each other's
No.
albums?
I make up the fucking rules and you get in this house, damn it.
I got my 6 already picked out.
So there's no sharing. There's
So if he steals one of my albums, I have to choose something else.
you could go with the same thing. I don't care.
That's fine.
No.
No, I'm gonna go with something else.
I mean,
Jacob likes
Go
making
for it.
harder for himself.
All right. So number 1 is "To Bathe from the Throat of Cowardice" from Vitriol. That's probably one of the albums that's most important to me personally. I mean, I got the whole album cover tattooed on my leg. It means a lot to me. When I discovered that band, discovered that album, it was a very, how can I say this, rough time, personal time. So yeah, that. Number 2, I've been thinking about this, so this is gonna be varied. Number 2 is the self-titled album by Colter Wall. Some Western country type music.
That's some good shit.
Good stuff.
how you spell that?
COLTER.
That's how you spell it.
Okay,
Wall.
gotcha.
Yeah. So Colter Wall.
And that's like you say that's country western shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like
I'm
very, very stripped down. Most of it's just him and his guitar. You know, might have some violin in the back and he's just singing.
Is it like outlaw country or just straight up boohoo like? Woo?
I would say
More like folk.
more folk. Are you familiar with Towns Van Zandt?
Yes, absolutely.
Very much Towns
Oh yeah.
sounding.
Okay.
Can I shake your hand?
Because Towns is awesome.
Yeah, man.
So
Nobody knows you fucking.
Fucking Miss Carousel. Anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
yes. Okay.
I love towns.
So, Colter Wall. Next one would be, and I know Jacob's going to love this one, The soundtrack to Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
That
Yes.
whole soundtrack. That right there. Jesus Christ.
Why are you laughing? You're making me laugh.
I'm sorry, man. Yeah. Why am I drawing a blank right now? So
You thought about this.
yeah,
You
I
thought
did.
about this.
I
You
did think about it.
3 more, you're halfway there.
I'm halfway there. Oh.
You should be glad he's not timing you like he does everyone else.
No, I don't time.
You don't-
That's your boy Blaine who times people.
Oh, really?
I don't do that shit.
That's Blaine's.
No.
All right. So next.
That's why he was fired.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
No.
I love Blaine.
Next would be Conquering the Throne by Hate Eternal.
That's a good shit. Man.
No, I take that back.
I don't know.
I'm on.
No take backs.
I'm on. Okay, Conquering the Throne. You can't go wrong with either one.
Okay.
I'm Monarch or Conquering the Throne. So that was number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5. God damn, I was thinking about this shit earlier. Oh, can you do like box sets, like compilations?
Absolutely.
All right. The 1952 to 1967 Merle Haggard box set collection. That's number 5.
Jacob's just looking at me.
He can look all he wants.
Fuck that shit.
And then number 6 is Abysmal by the Black Dahlia Murder.
Hey.
No, I take it back. Number 6 is Skeletal Domain by Cannibal Corpse.
Good shit. All right, that's your 6.
Boom, 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 boom.
All
I
right.
think I know which, at least 2 albums that are going to be on Reese's list.
I bet I do too.
That's a little too easy.
Yeah.
So is it my turn? Can I?
It's your turn. Yeah.
Your turn, go for it.
Okay. Fuck you.
Fuck
I
you, Hunter.
already know half of them. The Ever Black by the Black Dahlia Murder.
Oh, I saw that coming.
Deathless by Revocation.
Hey.
And Defenders of the Faith by Judas Priest. So that's already half. The other 3, that's going to be a little tough. Holy shit. Let me think. I have a few. I'm going to have to look at my phone right now. Because there's a lot of shit that goes through my brain as far as like.
You can't think of your favorite 6 albums on the spot.
Dude,
that's like fucking.
I listen to a lot of music.
As
that
do
love.
I.
And whole albums, Mo.
Me too.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not like, I'm going to put on a playlist. Like, no, I sit and listen to records.
What's wrong with playlist?
There's nothing wrong with it. That's just not what I do.
Oh.
That's not what we do. We don't fuck around, motherfucker.
You never sounded more white than just now.
Have you met Jacob?
I'm not as white physically as Reese, but I'm whiter more personality-wise.
Colored Sands by Gorguts.
Yeah, good shit. Right now.
Son of a bitch.
Great album.
Thank you. I'm a big Gorguts fan. I adore that band all over the place.
That sounded so sexual and violent.
Yeah. Spread it out.
Colored Sands. Give me a second while I crank yank these albums, bro. Shit. Fuck, man.
We're sweating up in here because of all the laughs.
Weapons of Tomorrow by Warbringer.
Okay.
Because I had to put some thrash on there. Because we're a thrash band that listens to death metal. Like that's definitely the weird thing. So I had to put a thrash album on there.
Mm-hmm.
And Hemispheres by Rush.
Ah, good shit.
I need a fucking piss.
Oh, wrong button.
Hey, Mo.
Horns.
Oh, out this door right here, and go
what the fuck button?
and just hang a left, and it's gonna be the first door on your left.
Uh-oh, Reese has left the room.
Like he's gonna go.
Say whatever we
He's gonna
want.
take a shit.
Wait,
like
we're
he's gonna go
say
shit.
whatever we want now. He's not in the room anymore.
Hey, Mo. Hey, Mo.
Yeah.
Can I change one of my things? I realized I made a great
Since,
mistake.
since I like you, Jacob Meche,
Thank you.
go ahead. What you want to substitute?
We're gonna take off Cannibal Corpse,
Take out Cannibal Corpse. Okay.
and we're gonna put Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest.
Hey.
Hey.
Because that's the first metal album I
Yeah.
ever listened to,
Uh-huh.
and I don't know how I forgot about it.
You know, speaking of Judas Priest, Jacob, while you were talking about how, a thrash metal band, take from like all extreme, like the extreme parts of thrash, extreme parts of progressive metal, and death metal as well. And I say, I mean, there's nothing remotely wrong with that if people don't get on, because I mean, you look at Goat Whore, who y'all toured with, who y'all played a show with. You cannot just put Goat Whore in a box saying that they're straight up black metal, because they're not. I mean, admittedly, the band has told me, and they told other people that has interviewed them, that they have elements of black metal. Yes, they have thrash, black thrash, and straight up like heavy metal. Because I mean, when y'all said Judas Priest, it triggered it. I mean, because like,
Sammy's a huge Judas Priest fan. Like,
as is Ben and the whole band, man. And then like
specific incident with Sammy.
Tell the story before I give my albums. This will actually be a good segue. Not really, but it would be cool.
So I was hanging out at the Boom Boom Room. I have a terrible memory. I cannot recall who I was going to see, but Sammy was there, and he was inebriated. He was having a good time. And I wanted to go up to him and say, hey, and when I happened to walk up to him, he was screaming about how much he loved metal.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, he's like, I love metal. I love it so much. And I'm like, dude, I did too. He's like, I fucking love Saxon. I'm like, Saxon's pretty cool. I'm not like the big Saxon fan. I was like, they're cool. And he's like, I fucking love Judas Priest. And I'm like, dude, I love Judas Priest too. Defenders of the Faith is like is one of the best albums ever. And he like scoffed at me. He's like, how old are you? And I'm like, 22. He gives a big thumbs down and makes a fart noise. He's like, kiss me on the cheek. Okay.
And at that moment, Reece was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. No, but me and Sammy talked a few seconds about Defenders of the Faith, and I kissed him on the cheek. And
that's awesome.
It was a great time. So good stuff.
Good stuff.
Short little Sammy story.
I like that.
Yes. We
all
love Sammy's stories.
Sammy's stories, man.
And since the three of us are absolutely inseparable, we're going to the desert island together so we can listen to each other's albums. Because everything that I just heard them say, I'm like, I want to listen to that too, except for like two country bumpkin ones that Jake listed.
Two country bumpkin ones.
So yeah.
Hey, don't be hating.
Aren't you from Abbeville, Jake?
Yes, but Arnaville is way more country bumpkin than Abbeville. Abbeville is just like ammunition laden. That's a dangerous place. Arnaville is not dangerous. It's just out in the middle of nowhere.
It's a nice little village.
I cannot deny or
Arnaville is a
confirm.
Nice, happy town.
That's good.
We love fucking with him about where he lives.
It's a village that doesn't exist. It just exists in this corporeal dimension that exists under my house. Every single time that I'm in there, I'm like, I drive through Arnaville whenever I'm over there with Jake, and I'm like, it smells like the underside of my house. It smells like something one of my cats drug under the house and killed and just left there. So I'm like, this for sure is under my house. There's no way it's not.
Jake's the young one. We have to fuck with him.
Again, for any of those people who are listening out there who are from Arnaville, Tales from the Riff podcast loves you. Keep listening.
Yes.
Let me see if I can impersonate Mo's voice. From Arnaville. Oh, yeah, people from Arnaville really suck.
Fault.
That's how I sound? Really?
No, I fucked it up.
God damn.
Not at all.
Okay, but yeah, like I was saying, we're going to the desert island together.
Give me your 6 albums, nerd.
And I will. You goddamn right. I play too much Halo.
What?
Say the fucking albums, goddammit.
Albums, let's go. Okay, so gotta get Woe to the Vanquished by Warbringer. Absolutely. I acknowledge that Weapons of Tomorrow is the superior Warbringer album, but Woe to the Vanquished is my favorite. I just dig the vibe of the whole thing, just the way the whole album goes through, and then the end, that really long, like, epic track, Once the Guns Fell Silent. It's just like, damn. I could never think of someone more properly capturing the emotional content of what World War I was about than that fucking song. I'm like, dude, every single time I listen to that and they have the harmonies and then the We Are the Guns
So
part where
fucking
it comes back on it and then the solo starts, I'm like, it feels like someone's like stabbing me in the heart. I'm like, God damn, these dudes really just threw their lives away.
The guitar player for Warbringer, that's Chase Bleecker. Becker.
Yeah, he also plays in
and Exmortus, yes. Yeah. And I met that dude whenever he played Lafayette, and He's the reason why I got a fucking ESP, an E2 Arrow.
Yeah.
That
I forgot
dude's
to
fucking
mention-
insane.
The Warbringer show, we got to hang out with them afterward
Oh
too.
man.
Yeah, it was really cool.
You had that Ex-Mortis show?
At the district?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was there.
I didn't know y'all was in.
That was before we knew each other.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
we got
it's all cool now.
yeah. Why didn't you hang out with me, Mo?
Fucking
on,
Jake had
Mo.
these eyes like,
Come
I was
on,
at that fucking
dude.
I
show.
was at the show, Mo.
You fucking, I was there.
I was there, man.
But
You
yeah,
didn't tell me hi.
we got to hang out with all of them. Adam not for super long because he would come out of the bus, take a smoke, and then he would jump back in there. But we talked to him a little bit. Carlos, we hang out with a little bit.
Probably scared.
Yeah, Chase. I mean, we are some crazy people, and they're a bunch of people from California. So I mean,
Yeah.
like they're not used to this. They're like, hey, what's up? And we start Paya Kom Sa. Like, oh, they start talking about like all this crazy Cajun coon ass stuff. And we hung out with Chase and John at the end. And Blake was like, man, we're saying some stuff to John. And John's like, the only thing I'm thinking about right now is smoking a joint. And Blake's like, well, do I have something for you, my friend? And then he pulls a fucking bag of weed out, or like a couple joints in a little baggie, and he's like, yeah, dude, let's do it. And then he's like, oh, fuck yeah. And then they start smoking it, and they started handing it to us. But for people that don't know, me, Jake, and Reece actually don't partake in any drugs or alcohol. Not saying, well, straight edge, these X's don't stand for kisses. We don't think we're cool because of it. It's just,
Jacob still has 5 more albums. To
yeah,
talk
it's
about.
Yeah, we're
It's-
still waiting on that.
God damn it. This is a cool story. Shut up.
I for the past hour and call it 30 minutes, hour and a half.
Yes.
I've heard all the Gamerra stories. Now, us three here in the audience, we want to know what's your favorite 5 albums.
Well, part of
So,
part of Lord of the Vanquished is the
dude,
story.
like, you're
bro.
like clipping the audio big time. Look,
Well,
it's
maybe-
green. It's green now.
It's not completely monitored like level wise with my headphones, so I don't really know how loud I'm being right now. So I apologize. I'll talk like this for the rest of the podcast. Is it okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so this little ditty of a story is part of Woe to the Vanquished. Did you not know this? They're on their Woe to the Vanquished tour still.
Oh,
So it's part of the thing. He was trying to hand us the weed, and we were like, "Nah, we're good." And then we just hung out with him for the rest of the day. So yeah, cool show,
cool story, bro.
cool show. Second album, Epitaph, My Necrophagist,
Yeah.
which, being the thrash head that I am, and like the leader of this little thrash outfit, it's kind of maybe comes as a surprise coming from that. It's like I really love technical death metal. That's like, of all the subgenres of death metal, progressive and technical death metal, those are my 2 favorites. Like, I'm super into Brain Drill, like Desecravity, like a bunch of those other crazy bands. Like Desecravity, for who no one knows, it's a band from Japan. They're cool. But yeah, Epitaph is like their first album, Onset of Putrefaction, with none other than Christian Munzer playing lead guitar on it, who for people that don't know, is the lead guitar player for Obscura. And he elevated their music so much. Like, the melodic content of that album is just, it's like I said, it's like their first album, but it's better. It's like, it's basically better in every way. And I've been a fan of them for a while. I heard them back when I was still just a little wee bass player, and I was like, cool. And then I returned to them later when I was an adult. I was like, I can really appreciate this a lot more.
Right.
Let's see. Third album. Man, I wanted to mention a Revocation album, but
you can.
Everyone's favorite Revocation album has already been mentioned, so I'm not going to mention them because I said we're on the same desert island listening to each other's albums. So I'll go with Arise by Sepultura.
Good album.
Yes, indeed. Okay, and this might ruffle a few feathers, but everyone talks about German thrash. They don't know what the fuck they're missing in Brazilian thrash. They have an entire scene of bands over there in Brazil that people do not know about.
I have a good friend on Instagram, man, who's like killing it in his one-man black metal outfit. I think he has a guest vocalist here and there, but Rachna, dude, you're killing it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
They're from
But,
Brazil.
What's that?
He's from Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
But people don't. It's like, dude, extreme, like all this other stuff. Creator's great. I'm
Creator's
a
great.
Creator. Like, I don't listen to them on a steady basis, but they're a good band. I
Yeah.
like them. But they're talking about like, yeah, they started the whole wave into the whole death metal screaming vocal thing. People have not gone and listened to. I should say, if they haven't, on YouTube, there's still the four-way split that released in 1985 from Mutilator, Holocausto, Sarcophago, and Chakal. They did a four-way split back in 85, and some of those vocals on those fucking recordings, it's just like, it's just like
savage.
surprising.
It's savage shit.
Surprising how extreme that was back in 85. Like, what was it? Rain in Blood hadn't even released yet. Master of Puppets hadn't released yet. Like, none of that stuff. Like,
No.
Brazil was so fucking ahead of the game.
They were.
People do not, and it's crazy because Jacob's spitting the facts. Nobody fucking talks about this shit. But I don't imagine many people are going and trying to listen to fucking four-way splits with Chakal, Holocaust.
Yeah, if you feel so inclined, that is. But Sepultura is obviously the most popular one. Then Sarcophago is probably the second most popular one. But they have this band, Psychic Possessor, that Reece told me about.
Yeah.
They kick ass. Like Hell Poison, another good one.
That's a newer band, but they're fucking sick.
There's something like Reece likes to say. There's something in the water over in Brazil.
There's something in the fucking water over there.
What was it? 4th album now, right?
Right.
4th album is going to be Individual Thought Patterns by Death. I have to mention that.
Beautiful.
Because, and I know you guys have talked about this.
Yes.
I listened to the Void episode, and you guys talked about this album as well. The lead playing by Andy LaRocque, and on the Heraclean episode, you guys talked about this.
Yep.
It's like a kind of a creeping inspiration on me. Like, I didn't really realize how much it imprinted on my guitar playing until after I really because back in the day I wasn't really a big fan of death metal at all, and then I kind of find my way into death and like stuff like that, and eventually gained a better appreciation for it. Took a little bit of break from him, and then I listened back to some of Andy's solos on there. I'm like, damn.
You just gonna go back and listen to Merciful Fate.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's I'd say one of the most underrated lead players that is in.
I don't think there's anything underrated about that man.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, people
don't talk
not
about him.
Talk about him as much as they should.
The fuck is that?
That's for my medication for my heart. Sorry, people.
Oh, you got a heart condition?
Yes, I do.
Can't get you too excited.
Take it. Let him blow up. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Heart failure. Yeah.
I know I mentioned Unnatural Selection earlier, but I'm gonna have to go with Time Is Up by Havoc.
Yes.
Like, I can't just leave that behind. That's a very, very important album for the entirety of modern thrash. And Warbringer got their deal earlier in their careers than Havoc did, even though they started at the same time. But a lot of that had to do with the fact that they were in the scene. They were in California, so
right.
they had a bigger connection to Century Media at the time. Havoc took a little bit longer because they were out in Colorado. I would say, generally speaking, not necessarily on us. I'd say Warbringer's a bigger inspiration as far as the way we sound. Havoc's more of an inspiration as far as our trajectory as a career and stuff. That's why we wanted to do this in the first place.
Okay.
To me, Warbringer's sound, to me, like I said, is more inspirational to us and just our preference. But Havoc had way bigger of an impact on the entirety of pushing thrash metal to the masses whenever it revived. Because, think about it. Like, From the Cradle to the Grave music video has 6 million views.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of the other modern thrash bands, other than Municipal Waste, have been able to get to that level of renown. And, Havoc is very important, and I think that Time Is Up is their most important release. That's where I sit on that. Reece Scruggs' solos are a little bit chaotic on it, but that's the nature of their album. It's like it's attack.
It's their most aggressive album, easily.
It's not my favorite solos by him, but the songs, for anyone that has not listened to this, that's listening to this, go and check out the second to last song, Out of My Way. There's this slamming riff toward the end of the song. It's like, and every single time it plays,
keep going, keep doing that.
Every single time it plays, my entire upper body just tenses up and I start flexing. I'm just like, ooh, that's fucking muscle, dude. It's awesome. That song's awesome. Check it out.
How'd that riff go again?
And the drums, and then it comes in, and then it does the weird Benny Paul, and it's just like, and then it goes, and then Dave Sanchez goes, fuck off, and the solo starts. It's so stupid, but I love every second of it.
Pure gold.
And that is going to be the promo right there.
This is how Jacob writes drum parts, by the way.
Pretty much. I'm like, okay, and then it does a thing, and then it goes do that, and then I go on the computer, I'm like, okay, cool. And I show them, they're like, cool. Yeah, cool drum parts.
Was that all 6 of your albums?
One more.
Yeah.
There's still one more.
One more.
One more.
Yeah, that's right. He just did a shout out to one of them.
Yes.
Okay.
That took 30 minutes. I'm
That
sorry.
took yeah.
Damn, son.
I'm trying to eat dinner with my family. It's okay.
We apologize.
You can eat my arm as a meal. I surrender my left arm. I don't need to play guitar anymore. They mentioned the Black Dahlia Murray. They mentioned Revocation. They mentioned a lot of the stuff that I would have picked, honestly. Let me go back just a little bit in my brain here. I don't want to do all thrash.
I don't think you did.
Demonocracy by Job for a Cowboy. Let's go with that.
That's
It's like Ruination, but with better guitar solos, and Johnny's vocals got better, and the riffs are stronger, the production's better. It's the one with the best production, best songwriting. Fight me on it.
everything's better. And that right there was Jacob Broussard's Sacred Six.
45-minute explanation for these songs. I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. Don't be sorry. You did good.
I thought I did terrible.
Good and terrible, yes.
I thought you
That's
did
exactly
fucking
how.
good, too.
Terribly good.
Oh, shit. This was too much fun.
Hey, he dropped his pencil.
I dropped my
I don't
pencil.
know if you got the point, Mo.
Jesus.
How long did that joke sit in your back pocket?
Can you handle it? Totally. As I slap his foot, totally.
Oh, my.
I feel like a high schooler again. I used to drop this shit on people all the time. Oh, that reminds me.
What? Oh, you're a dick.
That's like
Fuck you. All right.
I got you. It's like that one time. That's-
Jacob can be a dick sometimes.
So-
you see that cup right there? That's me when the
Yep. So, moving on.
Yeah.
Right.
So, we got the new album coming out
Yes. The new
October
EP.
28th.
October 28th, Kuyon Death Squad will be out. It's a 3-song EP. It's the beginning of a string of EPs that all have a lyrical theme.
Yep.
It's a
it's an ongoing story.
ongoing
It's a
storyline.
very if anyone that's ever listened to Ghoul, it's kind of like esque in that because it's like all the releases are going to be connected in this longer story that ends up having this huge conclusion that my semi Asperger's brain has managed to think up. Bleep that out if you have to. I was trying to think of a better way to say it.
No, I mean, okay. So, you don't have Asperger's.
Fuck no. Of course he does.
I at least think that I'm somewhat on the spectrum, at least not borderline autistic. I'm able to think of weird things like this. I'm like, hey, I just thought up a.
You can stop right now, Jacob. It's cool.
Yeah, I just told him one day. I was like, hey, I have this
I get
story,
it.
this story that's going to be 10 releases long, and it's going to be awesome. And they
Yes.
agreed.
So-
Fortunately,
Yeah, Kuyon Death Squad, October 28th. It'll be out on all streaming platforms and all that kind of good stuff. You can pre-save it, on Spotify and all that stuff. And
please do. It helps a lot.
yes, it help a lot. And if y'all are interested, check it out. We'd appreciate it.
Gamerra is now. Are y'all still looking for a bass player?
We have
Fuck are you talking to, Mo? Of course.
no.
I don't know. Things change.
We're
I'm sorry. I forget that
We are
I
looking
forget
for a
that I live
drummer.
my own life.
And a drummer.
we are looking for a drummer. Yes.
Okay. So, if you don't suck, hit your boys up.
If you do suck,
And
still
that's
hit
okay.
us up. We'll
Yeah.
talk to you. Like we'll maybe make some new
We
buds.
can hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all good for friends. All good for friends. Just give us as many friends as we need.
On that note, it's been fun, guys. I'm glad y'all came.
Well, thank you.
We're glad we came too. Thank you for
Please don't ever come back.
thank you for being so hands-on, Mo. We really appreciate it.
That's what I do. I'm real hands on.
We don't have to do it ourselves later when we go home now.
What?
What?
Thank you, Mo, for having us. on
You
your
said
podcast. We
you're
appreciate
glad.
it.
Mo said, "I'm glad you guys came," and I'm like, "So are we."
Oh, wow. Okay. And
Just fucking stop the recording. Just stop it.